What's up, guys? We're back for the second episode of the NintendoKnights podcast. I am Art, and I'm joined here with my co-host, Joe.
What's going on?
All right, so getting right into the podcast today, the first thing we definitely want to talk about is the longest Nintendo Direct drought in the history of Nintendo Direct. We have not had a full Direct since September of last year, and still no announcement from Nintendo when the next one could be. What do you think about that, Joe? That's crazy.
Yeah, it actually sucks. Like they've done a few things here and there. I know they did Pokemon right when it came, or right before it came out in November, and some other stuff with Pokemon and Smash. But like it's just ridiculous. I mean, the radio silence is a little scary, especially with such a dry year. We know nothing about anything. Like after Animal Crossing, I mean, what's next? This game's a month away.
Yeah, the last Direct we got was actually a big one. They announced the Xenoblade remake, but no news about that since then. No release date or anything like that, but we do know it's coming out this year, assuming it doesn't get delayed.
Yeah, that'll be a big one. But yeah, I feel like everything they really talked about last year was stuff that came out last year. There wasn't much that they left us for with 2020.
Yeah, and they really gave us a nice roadmap last year, so we had everything to look forward to. Now we don't really know at all what to look forward to, what we want to play. You know, it's pretty crazy. Last year we knew everything that was going to come out.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't know. I hope we get some news soon. Everyone's been saying that we've got 2 directs coming in February, but until we hear anything from Nintendo, you know, I don't want to just put all my chips in some fake rumors.
Yeah, 2 directs is the leak I heard as well, but it's starting to seem less likely at this point.
Yeah.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, there are rumors going around that Nintendo may be a no-show at E3 this year. I do want to say I was reading today that there's no basis to those rumors. Nobody can find proof, so they really are just rumors and may be completely untrue.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think the last 2 years since I feel like the big Breath of the Wild display at E3, they've only done directs, right? They haven't actually been present.
I think that's correct for the most part. They still bring like gameplay demos.
They didn't do any like a press conference.
Right, yeah, they haven't been doing press conferences.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Sony's confirmed definitely not participating. And now I also saw Jeff Keighley, I think is how you say his name, isn't participating, and he's been like the producer for the past 25 years, ever since E3 got started.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I mean, it's interesting. Who knows?
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. So really don't know what's next for E3. Don't know what's going on there. I will say I'm hoping Nintendo's still there, like, or at least they still do a direct that just shows us everything. Like, I guess it doesn't really matter if they're there.
Yeah, like a big time direct, you know. Last year's was crazy. It was an awesome event. And they showed off so much good stuff. So yeah, it would really, and you know, it's the time that everyone's expecting big news. So it would really suck if that just didn't happen this year.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next thing I wanted to talk to you about real quick, and this may be something you haven't heard about, maybe a lot of people haven't. Back in the days of the Super Nintendo, Nintendo was actually going to team up with Sony to bring discs to the Super Nintendo. And so together they developed what they were calling at the time the Nintendo PlayStation. And it was basically a Super Nintendo that had a disc drive, and it would use Sony discs. The deal fell through. Sony wanted what Nintendo thought was too many rights, so Nintendo kind of behind their back went and made a deal with Philips instead, and that fell through too. But because of the deal, Philips got to make a bunch of terrible Nintendo games and release them on the Philips CDI.
One of Gamelon.
Yeah, but anyway, one guy actually found a prototype for this Nintendo PlayStation, and he's had it for a long time. He used to take it to like game conventions and show it off and everything, but he's decided it's time to sell it, and so it's actually up for auction right now. I've got the auction pulled up. At the time of recording, the current bid is $260,000.
Oh my lord!
Yeah, I checked this earlier this morning, and it was at $45,000. It's already up to
Wow.
260.
I mean, that's a crazy piece of hardware. Crazy, weird piece of history too.
Yeah, and it's the only known one to exist.
Yeah, how do you get something like that?
I
I mean,
from
he's
what I
got to be in
understand,
the industry
yeah, from
somewhere.
what I understand, he used to like work in a warehouse that was either run by Nintendo or Sony, and I think he was cleaning it out after they left. Like they closed it down, and he found it there or something. It was some weird story like that where basically he found it in a warehouse just forgotten about.
Wow.
But yeah, basically the thing looks like like I said, it looks like a Super Nintendo or kind of like a Super Famicom. It doesn't really look like the American Super Nintendo, but
Hmm.
it's got a little screen on it to show like the track if you're playing a CD or DVD or whatever. And then it also has a cartridge thing, but it says Sony on it, it says PlayStation on it, and then it's got an actual Super Nintendo controller, exactly the same as the Super Nintendo controller, but it says Sony PlayStation on it instead of Nintendo.
Wait, so it was supposed to be a brand new console? Does it play Super Nintendo games? What's the cartridge for?
For Super Nintendo games.
So it works. Is it a working?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, you
Okay,
could play
that's
Super Nintendo or discs on it. It was meant to be basically like a Super Nintendo 2.0, where it would
mm-hmm.
still play Super Nintendo games, but then it could also accept new, bigger disc games.
Can't believe they tried to do that with the Super Nintendo and then tried again with the N64 and they both were complete failures.
Yeah, and actually they tried it with the NES too, but the disc system with the NES had some success in Japan, so it wasn't a complete failure. But basically, by the time they were going to bring it to the US, it was already time to put out the Super Nintendo, so it didn't matter. They weren't really disc with the NES either. It was actually like a floppy disk drive,
Huh,
but they were like special floppy disks. They were made by Nintendo. They were proprietary. They weren't like a standard floppy disk.
right.
All right, so moving on from that cool little piece of history, we wanted to do a little something fun with this coming out right before Valentine's Day. We wanted to talk about some games we thought would be fun to play with your girlfriend or your significant other, your boyfriend, just play
Yes.
together as a couple.
Things are
Uh,
heating up in here.
yeah, so we put some current games, we put some past games, just a few that we thought would be fun to play together, sit down, either chill or have some friendly, fun competition, something like that. So, first game we have on our list is Wii Sports.
It's a
What do you think?
classic. Can't beat it. I mean, bowling, the big thing about this game, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate. My girlfriend's not a gamer, so this is so easy. Plus, everyone's played it before. It's not really any button pushing.
Yeah, I think especially like bowling, that's the perfect game on here to just play as a couple
Yep,
on a chill night. You know,
absolutely.
grab a bottle of wine and just bowl while you're, having a little bit of fun.
Yep.
Next one I came up with here is Super Smash Brothers. A little more competitive, maybe not as easy if your significant other's not into gaming, but definitely a fun one for sure.
And you know what? There's team battles. You guys team up, play against some computers. Just beat them up. Have a good time. I think
Yep.
there's a lot of ways to make this game work out pretty well for a little session.
Yeah, I agree. And 100%, if your significant other like us isn't really that much into gaming, it could be a good way to, like teach. You could be like,
Yeah.
oh, you could do this move, and, kind of talk them into it a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, up next, we've got Mario Party. And it doesn't really matter which Mario Party,
They're
any
all
of them's a
great.
good.
Well, I say that term loosely.
Right. There's some bad ones in there, but
Yeah.
I would think just going in what you were saying with team battles on Smash Bros, the most recent Mario Party, Super Mario Party for the Switch, has a really good team mode. And I think that would be a good one where you guys could team up and stomp some computers so there's no bad blood when you're stealing stars and things like that.
Yeah, because I don't know if this is the option if you're not doing teams. This will ruin relationships
Right. Definitely.
because
You're not trying to get anybody mad on
if I
Valentine's Day.
pass boo, I mean I'm taking your stars. I don't care.
Oh, 100%. If you got stars and I got coins, you're
They're
losing
mine.
your stars.
You're
Yeah.
done.
Oh, hell yeah.
You're not winning a single mini game either. Like,
The
sorry.
yep. The
I'm not
girlfriend
sorry though.
doesn't get special treatment just because it's
No way.
Valentine's Day.
It's Mario Party. Come
Right.
on.
You're gonna throw a mini game? No, I'm getting
No
that mini game
chance.
star. I'm getting the coin star. So yeah, you might want to team up for that one. Up next, you could play Luigi's Mansion 3. This does actually have a multiplayer feature where they could play as Luigi while you play as
Luigi.
Luigi.
Absolutely.
So it's great. You're teaming up, which again, takes the edge off. There's no competing against each other. You're on a team
Yeah.
helping
It's
each other out.
it's a fun game too. You can just interact with everything in that game. It's just so fun to watch. Yeah, Luigi's perfect for her because, you're still in control.
Right. Perfect game to play together too. Little spooky, cuddle up, get close.
Absolutely.
All right, so after that, we came up with Super Mario 3, kind of a classic.
Yep. We'll throw back to the NES days. This one, it's funny because it's so hard. I tried to play it, I think, over Christmas, and I was like, wow, I'm horrible at this game now, but yet so simple, It's
Yeah,
two buttons.
Mario's not like riding a bike at all. You get out of practice and all of a sudden you're terrible at the game. I actually had
Yeah,
that experience recently where I was getting into some of the old Marios and I was like, I still know where all the secrets are, but I just can't get to them because I'm terrible.
yeah. But it's two-player. You guys can bounce back and forth, Mario and Luigi. It's a fun game, you
And
know.
that being said, it's on the Switch right now. It's on the if you've got the Switch online, it's on the NES app,
Yeah,
and they've
yeah,
added a few features to make it a little easier. There's like level skips or something. There's like a rewind feature if you die. So just a few things you can use to make it a little easier if you're just trying to have a chill night.
yeah.
All right, so then we've got probably the ultimate chill game,
The ultimate.
Animal Crossing.
Absolutely. It's
You
not
know,
two-player, but it doesn't need to be. You can still have a great time with a special person playing that game.
yeah, Animal Crossing is one of those ones. My fiance and I have a town together on the GameCube Animal Crossing. She's got her house, I've got my house. And, it doesn't really matter who's playing. We could both take turns playing. She'll do some work, make some money for her. Then I'll switch to mine. Or, I'll sit there while she walks through. And it's just fun to, help her catch a fish or just talk about what's going on, talk about the villagers.
And
It's
jam out to those sweet, sweet tunes.
exactly just have a really chill time.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking for a little more action, Mario Kart, any of the series, Double Dash especially could be good.
Double Dash number one for me. Really. Because you guys can ride the same cart. And I feel like that's so big.
Yeah, that is great teamwork. I will say, even though my fiance is not a big gamer, Mario Kart's one of those ones she loves. So for us,
Yeah.
I think it's got to be Mario Kart 8 because she's going to want to drive. I'm going to want to drive. So Mario Kart 8 will compete a little bit in this one because sometimes she ends up winning.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. And obviously that's a great one to pick. It's so fun. So many levels. I mean, there's just hours of fun there. Mario Kart's perfect.
So let's talk about a little bit of a dark horse pick.
Here
Not
it is.
everybody's going to have this available to them, but if you do, Donkey Konga for the GameCube. I mean, come on.
You can hook up two bongos. I mean,
Yep.
if not, each you gets a side.
Right. And if you don't have two bongos, hit the eBay. There's
Yep.
not time before Valentine's Day, but get yourself some bongos. Do yourself a favor.
Do yourself a favor. They're like $20 now. That was a fun game.
That was a fun game. It was
Very
so
minimal
underrated
gameplay.
back then because
Yeah.
like when the GameCube was new, it was expensive to get two pairs of congas,
Yeah, it really was.
But now, like, come on.
Yeah.
All right. So
Great game.
that's the games we were able to come up with just thinking about what we would play with our significant other on Valentine's Day. I'm sure there's others out there. Maybe you guys could let us know if you've got any others. Leave a comment in YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. After that, I wanted to talk about a few sales that are going on because Nintendo does have some February sales, also some, I guess, Valentine's Day sales. So there's Love to Game and Gift Sale right now, which is from Warner Bros., which they have a couple games that are worth grabbing. These are all going to be the digital copy of the game, but Lego City Undercover, really good game. It's like Grand Theft Auto except Legos, not quite as violent, obviously.
Yeah, I'm into it.
$29.99 now down to $11.99. Or there's also the Lego Harry Potter collection. This has every one of the games 1 through 7. I'm actually going to cop this deal. $49.99 normally down to $19.99.
Wow.
So yeah, pretty good price on
Yeah.
that.
Never played any of those.
And this ends at the 17th. I've never played any of the Lego Harry Potters, but I like the Lego games, so I'm willing to check out.
Yeah,
the
I
Harry
was
Potters.
big fan of the Lego Star Wars, and I loved the Lego Lord of the Rings game.
Yep.
It was awesome.
That was a lot of fun. And then if you're into the Scribblenauts series, both Switch Scribblenauts, the Scribblenauts Mega Pack is on sale from $39.99 to $15.99. And Scribblenauts Showdown is also on sale from $39.99 to $15.99. Now, on top of that, there is a Capcom sale going on. This one also ends on the 17th. Switch games, they've got Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, normally $49.99 down to $19.99. Resident Evil 0 is on sale from $29.99 to $14.99.
I have such a love-hate relationship with that game.
Yeah, but that's a good price to
It's a
get it
good deal
at.
though. You got
Yep.
to play it once. If you haven't played it, you got to play it once. But you're gonna hate the teamwork mechanic because it's terrible. But play it once.
Apparently, I guess Resident Evil, the first one, is also on the Switch. That's down from $29.99 to $19.99. Resident Evil 4 is down from 29 to 19. Resident Evil 5 is down from 29 to 19, and so is Resident Evil 6.
Mm,
Resident Evil Revelations is down to $9.99, and Revelations 2 is also $9.99.
not bad, not bad. Get them while they're hot.
Yeah, these are pretty good prices.
Yeah,
I know we talked a little bit actually about the Mega Man X Legacy Collection last time.
yeah,
That's already going to be affected by this sale, so that's normally going to be $19.99. It is $9.99 right now.
not bad at all.
So yeah, another good one. Blizzard is also having a February sale. This one's going to end on the 18th. They've got Overwatch Legacy Edition on there, normally $39.99 down to $99.99. And then they've got the Diablo 3 Eternal Collection, normally $59.99 down to $39.99.
Nice.
Activision has to get up on it too. The one that's really speaking to me here is the Spyro Remastered Trilogy.
Oh, I want to play that so bad.
Yeah, my fiance really wants to play this. This is something she played a lot as a kid, so this would be something to get her back into gaming. Normally $39.99, now $19.99.
Nice.
So I'm probably going to get that.
Wow.
And
half off.
yeah,
That's killer. Yeah.
That and Harry Potter. Also, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. I've never played this, but I heard this one is actually
a
pretty
lot
good.
of people like the Crash driving games, the racing games.
Yeah, this one's supposed to be pretty good. $39.99 down to $23.99. And now there's some Ubisoft games on sale. These seem like some pretty good prices. If you haven't played Mario and Rabbids Kingdom yet, which is actually a lot of fun, kind of like a strategy RPG. Almost, I was going to compare it to Fire Emblem. It's similar just because it's on like a board-based battle system.
Yeah.
But the Gold Edition, which includes all the DLC, normally $79.99 on sale for $19.99.
Holy cow.
Yep. If you don't care about the DLC, you just want the full game, normally $60 down to $14.99.
Wow, that's actually a great price.
Yeah, those are really good prices. Also, the South Park Fractured Butthole. If you have not played that yet, normally $59.99 down to $19.99. So they've got some decent prices for the.
I haven't played that yet. I might need to.
Me
cop
either.
that.
I might have to get that as well. I
quite
played the
enjoyed
one.
the first one.
Yeah, the Stick of Truth. Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered down from $39 to $19.99.
Yeah. Skip it.
Yeah. And that's basically all they've got for Ubisoft that looked interesting to me anyway. And actually looking, that's all the deals going on right now. There's some individual games on sale, but nothing's really standing out to me that I feel like mentioning here. So looks like that's it for the deals, but a lot of good deals going on. Looks like most of them end on the 17th. So if you're interested in any of those titles, now would be a good time to grab them.
Hit it up.
All right, then we wanted to touch briefly on the new Smash character. Not so new at this point, but the most recent Byleth was added to Smash. I've had a chance to play around with him or her, depending on which version of the skin you use. Not a big fan, I'm going to be honest. Just too slow of a character for me. Very unique to play. I don't really know. I know everybody's mad that it's another Fire Emblem fighter, but I don't really know anybody who's the same. Like how Marth, Roy, and Chrom, they're all the same character, basically. Byleth is very different. So that's at least good. Just a little too slow for me.
Yeah, they've been trying to get a little crazy with the mechanics, with the warrior from Dragon Quest. They added a lot of like very new mechanics to try and make him different from other sword fighters, and I like how they're doing that. But yeah, this isn't the character for me either.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. On one hand, like Fire Emblem was their big game for the Switch. They don't have a character from this Fire Emblem yet, so it makes sense that they wanted to add a Fire Emblem character. We can't expect everybody to be non-Nintendo.
Yeah, and we have, what, 6 more?
Yeah, 6 more characters.
You can't expect them to all be just like and break the internet Banjo-Kazooie style,
Right.
So it's fine. We should be hearing from some news, fingers crossed, pretty soon about what's next.
Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to take for them to announce a new fighter, because Byleth is considered the end of the first pack of DLC fighters. So I don't know if there's going to be a gap between that and the second pack, or if
Yeah.
they're going to keep on just every couple of
I
months
mean,
doing a
they have
character.
like a full year, maybe two, of scheduled fighters. It's actually crazy. You know, if they do one every 3 months, it's a year and a half of fighters.
And I really can't think who else they're going to add to the game.
I know.
Like, I really just can't even imagine who it's going to be.
Possibilities really are endless at this point.
Yeah, definitely excited for some kind of announcement on that. We will keep our eyes out for it. Next thing I wanted to do is kind of a new segment we were thinking about. So I'm going to run it by you, Joe. Reading 1-star reviews for what are considered generally popular games, games that normally people love. Let's check out 1-star reviews, see what people are saying, why they're giving it a 1-star, and just bounce off that, see what we think about it.
I love it. That sounds awesome.
All right, so
You
this
got
week,
one picked out?
yep,
Hit me
this
with
week
it.
I thought we'd do Breath of the Wild.
Excellent.
Everybody can agree that's a great game. You know,
Who could have rated this 1-star? I mean, that's crazy.
Everybody gave it a 10. So, all right. So this is off Amazon.com. This is a real review. It says worst game ever. Worst Zelda game I've played easily. Easily. Says it twice, once in all caps.
Oh.
It's huge and pretty and has a lot of innovative stuff never seen in Zelda, but almost every single thing they added is a misfire. First, it's barren. It's a giant, huge, amazing world with nothing in it. No, I don't count boring little pig monsters or reskins of boring little pig monsters or endless crafting things that don't make anything remotely cool or another melee weapon that breaks after 3 swings. These are not content. Second, it's repetitive. They got rid of big theme dungeons. I'm honestly not sure why, but I'm not against it if they did something cool. They did not. They made a bunch, maybe hundreds, of small dungeons that feel incredibly joyless and give you nothing cool. There's just nothing to build to, nothing story-wise. The whole story is told through flashbacks. Cannot believe people are pretending this is a good game. In 5 years, no one will be talking about it.
Wow. You know, this is a man who was broken and who was hurt. And I get that. I feel that, actually. A lot of the things that he said, I 100% agree with. I think Breath of the Wild is an amazing, amazing, amazing game. But I'm kind of with him. I don't think it's a good Zelda game. It just wasn't, you know? And people always say the quote-unquote Zelda formula. That's because there is one, and it does make the games excellent. And they completely ditched it. I kind of agree that it's barren, and I only say kind of because I've dropped probably 200 hours into this game and I've seen everything there is to see. But he's so off base because when you're exploring this map for the first time, and it takes a long time, it's incredible. Nothing barren about it. Everything you find is exciting. You know, there's different terrain. There's, you know, you got a huge desert, which was probably my least favorite part to explore. But I mean, there's just so much to explore, and I mean, that was by far the highest point of this game was exploration and exploring the world. The dungeons were horrible. My least favorite part of the entire game. They were all exactly the same. I don't remember a thing about them. There were no bosses. I'm not even going to call that Ganon thing in every dungeon a boss because it's not. It's stupid. Really upset me. The final boss was horrible. Oh man, that just upset me so much. Zelda's like, name a game with more iconic bosses, like that puts an emphasis on boss fights. Like, yeah, that's huge in the formula, and they missed. That was a misfire. The shrines were okay. If they were themed, they could have been so much better. I understand that you know, would take a lot more time because they reused lots of assets on all these shrines. And you know, it's just one tiny puzzle usually, but I do agree that there's 120 of them. They get old. Obviously, I had to do them all because you don't get a tunic in this game until you do them all. It's another thing that I kind of miss personally. I like the green tunic, and I like when you can recolor it. I like when they do things. There's a lot I agree with, and I can tell that I'm ranting at this point. Damn, that that review kind of spoke to me. I don't think it's worth 1 star, but I'm kind of with this guy.
I, on the other hand, disagree with a lot on this review. Now, it's worth saying I'm not normally a huge Zelda fan, and this is probably the first Zelda I've played all the way through. I've seen through a lot of them, I've watched them, but I haven't really played through them myself.
All right.
This Zelda, I couldn't put down, and I'm going to have to wholeheartedly disagree with it being barren. Um, I think that's such a bad word to use for the Zelda map. Literally everywhere I went, I got so distracted because I saw something cool in this world and had to go explore it.
Absolutely.
I spent so much time just hunting deer because it was fun. Like, what other open world game just has wildlife like that? Like, you think back to Skyrim, yeah, there's a few wild animals, but it's not like that. It's not like you could just go deer hunting.
Yeah, the only one that did it better is Red Dead 2, and it came
Exactly.
out 2 years later.
Yep. Yeah, and could have even drawn some inspiration from Zelda.
Oh, I'm
Who
sure it did.
knows?
Absolutely.
And then adding the ability to climb, that is what every open world game needed. That just made the map so much more than it would have been. Like, imagine if you couldn't climb.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
My
that's incredible.
probably my biggest complaint with this game is actually just how much it rained.
Oh, God, yeah.
It seemed like every time I needed to climb somewhere, it was raining.
Like, it's such an easy fix, man. If they just gave you some kind of gloves where you could climb in the rain, done deal.
I think there was an outfit that at least helped, but I don't think it completely took it away.
I think the climbing armor, if I'm not mistaken, I think it just reduced your stamina depletion while climbing. I don't think it actually helped in the rain, which I guess kind of that does help. But when you fall, or slide down, it knocks a bunch of stamina. It was horrible. Impossible to climb.
Yeah, it really was.
Possible.
I also, well, to an extent, I would say, don't agree with what he's saying about the shrines. I thought the shrines were pretty creative. I liked that each shrine just focused on one skill. You got in a shrine and you were like, okay, this is a combat shrine. It's all about fighting.
Yeah.
Or, okay, this is a, freezing shrine and you had to use your ice freezing thing. Like, I liked that they chose one skill and then really made you think about how to use it. But I will say, after the 50, 60 mark, it starts getting boring. You're not really seeking out shrines anymore.
Right. And that's when it turned for me. I'd say about 75. I felt I was grinding more,
Yeah.
because I wanted to finish them all. I wanted to complete the game. Did I? Hell no. I'm not collecting 900 Korok seeds. That's insane. Glad it's in there. I'd rather say that's ridiculous, I'm never going to do all that, than say that was a fun 30-hour game, But yeah, around the 75 mark, I felt I was just grinding to finish them. I wasn't really enjoying them or appreciating them. So I just think they were, and it's a testament to how many there were, They got stale because there was so many.
And then I know there were, he said, he mentioned bokoblins specifically. Bokoblins, how it's just reskins of them. I will admit there were a lot of them, but there were a lot of different enemies too.
There was a good amount. And I feel like the reason people often say there's not enough enemies is because there were a lot of enemies that stuck to different areas. Like Lizalfos were in certain areas and Bokoblins were in certain areas. But, when you really look at it, if you look at the number of enemies in this game, there's a ton. Octoroks.
Yeah. And actually, kind of to what you said about bosses, I will admit none of the boss battles were great, but some of the boss battles out in the wild that weren't technically boss battles.
I loved that.
But the first time I came across a Lionel.
Yeah. Oh, you died. I know you did. Everyone
did. That thing messed me up. Or the first time I remember I had just picked up the game. I was running during nighttime and I came across, I'm trying to think of what these enemies were called, the giant skeletons.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I was like, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to see what happens. And dude one-shot me. I can't remember the last time I got one shot in a Zelda, you know?
Yeah,
Like this
it
one
was
was
very
challenging.
punishing at the
Yeah.
beginning of the game, especially. Absolutely. Love that, But man, it's just like the last one was Skyward Sword, and say what you will about it, but there's two things that were done very, very well in that game, and that's boss fights and dungeons. Very well. Some of the best ever. And it just sucked to see that get kind of left behind in this game.
Yeah. Then
And
the other
items.
thing,
There was a wide array of new, fresh, fun items in Skyward Sword as well.
right. And I get to an extent why there wasn't in this game. And I may even praise that because what I was about to get into is the last piece of his review here, where he says, there's just nothing to build, nothing story wise. The whole story was told through flashbacks. I actually really enjoyed the storytelling in this game. What I loved about the flashbacks is one, Zelda has never been known for its story. It's not like this is a great storytelling game ever. But
Yeah,
two, it created a open world game where you literally there were no rules. It was go wherever you want.
right.
And go fight the last boss if you want. If you don't care about story, walk right to Hyrule Castle and go fight that dude. And I loved that idea, and I used it a lot. Like I explored so much before I ever even beat one of the
Oh, me
dungeons.
too. I couldn't help myself. It's too
Yep.
fun.
Well, when I didn't have the whole map discovered, just the taunt of seeing one of those towers far away, like I had to go find him.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself.
I just feel like they're, and I feel like they're doing this. I really, truly do. Is find a balance between endless opportunity to explore with a little bit of linearness tied in.
Yeah,
Um, I think that the 9 dungeon formula is perfect, and then like one final, like Hyrule Castle is a final dungeon, not included in that. But I think there should be whole open world, 3 dungeons. You can do them in any order you want, and you might get an item or something, and that's fine because it's not gonna open new areas, but it's gonna make shit awesome. Like there needs to be a hook shot, and how I think they should do it is obviously it should have a limit on how far you can go, and then boom, you just hook shot, a quarter of a way up a mountain, and then you're climbing, and it takes a little stamina, but you know you've got a hook shot, and people want that back. I want
yeah.
that back.
I will agree. The hook shot would have made exploring even more fun.
Um, and you beat those 3 dungeons, then something crazy happens, and it doesn't unlock a new area. I think you should be able to explore the whole map from the start, but it opens things that weren't there before. Like, I mean, this is just some. I'm not smart enough to do this kind of thing, but things just pop out of the ground like they did at the beginning of the game, and then boom, you have 6 more dungeons to explore at in any order that do whatever and are themed and have a boss fight, and then you go fight Ganondorf, who's going to be the final boss, which is going to be amazing. And I'm glad they said, "Yo, Ganondorf is back," because I'm insanely hyped about that. It's crazy, zombie Ganondorf. Come on, I'm
Yeah,
all over it.
that will be awesome.
But just get back to the formula. Keep what you had because everything was great.
Yeah.
But get back to the formula.
I mean, all in all, I really loved this game. I loved catching horses. I loved fighting random monsters. I loved exploring the map. I loved the cooking. When I saw the cooking in trailers, I thought, that's going to get boring. But I loved making new recipes. They just made it fun.
Yeah. It sounds crazy, but I don't know if it's in my top 5 games of all time. It probably is. I've never made this list. That's a hard list to make. It's definitely in my top 10, but it's not in my top 5 Zelda games, and that's how I feel a lot of hardcore Zelda fans feel.
Not in your top 5 Zelda games?
All right, we've got. Let me just bang out my top 5 right now for you: Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Link's Awakening, Link to the Past, Link's Awakening original, Link to the Past.
No, the remake's better than the original. Dude.
Yeah, the remake is better, but like, not what? Link's Awakening is like 6. There's Wind Waker. Here we go. One more time.
Oh, see, I actually
Twilight Princess,
loved Link's Awakening.
Majora's Mask. Oh, I do too. That's why it's 6. Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Link to the Past. It's my top 5. Breath of the Wild doesn't make it. It's. I mean, it's a good Zelda game, and it's a fantastic game, but
Yeah,
the formula wasn't there.
Breath of the Wild is my favorite Elder Scrolls game.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a better Skyrim game than it was a Zelda game. Right. And it was a damn good Skyrim game.
My Elder Scrolls games go Breath of the Wild, Oblivion, then Skyrim.
I wish they would remake Morrowind because that's my number one. Just nostalgia. Just I loved playing that on the computer as a kid. I was
gonna say we didn't even play that game. We just cheated
our asses off because there was no voice acting. You had to read everything.
Yeah,
I'm not reading. I'm killing everyone in the town.
You remember you just pulled up the command prompt, set health 0, and clicked on them, and they just died.
It was so easy to cheat on the computer. It was legendary.
All right. That went pretty well, so I'm going to read one more 1-star review. It's a long one, so buckle down. I actually haven't pre-read this one. I pre-read the last one and chose it out. Thought that'd be a good one. But this one, I mean, he's got it broken down into paragraphs. It looks well thought out. So we're going to read it. We're going to dissect it, see what we think about it. It says, horrible game. I don't understand what all the hype is about over this game. I've been playing it for a while and I hate it for various reasons. First, it's an open world game with no sense of direction that I've found. Everything is so vague and there's no way you will figure out this game without consulting the internet for Q&A and walkthroughs. One thing I absolutely hate when trying to play this game. When I want to play a game, I don't want to have to keep stepping away from the screen to log onto a computer and to figure it out. What do I need to do next? Where do I go? How do I make this recipe? All right, I got to stop after the first paragraph.
Yeah, can you read he said, it's an open world, but something. Can you read that sentence again?
It's an open world game with no sense of direction.
With no sense of direction. That's what, like...
That's what I loved about this game. Because there was no order and no sense of direction, this is a game I actually played guide-free.
Like, exactly, dude. Did you try walking?
Right.
Like, what do you mean there's no sense of direction?
There's no rules. Just play it.
Just play. Yeah, exactly. There's no how, like...
The people give you plenty of hints, like the few hidden things, like I'm thinking Master Sword. If you actually traveled and searched and talked to people, you knew where the Master Sword was. It's not like you needed to look up an internet guide. Like, try playing the game. That's the problem. Some people, like, this is obviously from a completely different type of gamer than I am. Some people want to be told exactly where to go, exactly what to do. Whereas for me, this was so freeing just to be able to talk to people and figure out what to do.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it doesn't take long once you get off the tutorial to know what you have to do. And dude, everyone I talked to is talking about Zora Domain. Zoras were swimming up to me and they're like, hey, you should go talk to this guy. Like, there's tons of people, if you walk around and just do your own thing, that will tell you, like, maybe you should go this way. And guess what? You can or you can't. You don't have to. Do whatever you want. Don't be such a guide freak, you know?
Right, exactly.
Just have fun.
Exactly.
If you're having fun, who cares?
It's almost like he's so worried he's doing something wrong that he can't just enjoy himself.
Right.
So I'll go on. Second paragraph. For example, in the very beginning, you need to complete 3 trials and 3 shrines. Well, that's all fine and dandy, except the 3rd shrine is located atop a mountain that is cold, and you can't get there without some way to keep yourself warm. I wandered around this area countless hours until I finally, by luck, stumbled upon some old diary that said something about making a recipe that keeps you warm. Who would have known? You will have no idea until you stumble upon this isolated small shack and find the diary, but doesn't give you the recipe. You have to figure out on your own because this stupid old man wrote the diary, forgot the final recipe, and it's up to you to figure that out. Yeah, good luck with that. The first ingredient is peppers, which you could find and pick. The second is raw meat, which takes quite a while to figure out how to even find, and have to wander around some more until you find some boars in a forest to kill. As for the 3rd ingredient, you will be a week putting together all sorts of different combinations to find the 3rd is a fish. And you have no way of figuring this out unless you go to the internet and look it up. You could just put 3 peppers together and make an anti-cold thing.
Yeah. You don't need it. You use that recipe, and then he gives you the tunic that keeps you warm. But yeah, just eat a hot pepper.
Yeah,
that's all you need to do, and they're all over the place at the edge of that mountain. Or you can make it
Yeah, you could go up the mountain and not
Just
die.
pick up some apples. Like,
Yep.
you could have endless food. And you know what? We just said 3 different ways to get through that mountain just off the top of our heads.
And the thing is, he says searching forever to find that shack. I mean, that shack's like one of the only landmarks up there. Like,
Yeah,
you find it instantly.
it's in a huge open field by itself.
I don't know. I would love to see a video of this guy playing the game because I just
Yeah.
don't understand. Like, based on his review, like I understand what he's saying, and just having played the game cannot fathom that being possible.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's insane. It really is.
Right. Next
yeah.
paragraph.
Oh boy.
I spent hours and hours just wandering around in this game, figuring out what I'm supposed to do. I cannot stand games like that. Just wander around until by luck you stumble upon something related to your quest, at which point you will blindly wander around some more.
I mean, I guess there's people like that really just want games that aren't open world. They just want to get from A to B and have the quest play out along the way.
Which, in his defense, when you consider you're buying a Zelda game, that's very much what Zelda games usually are.
Kind of is, yeah.
Go here and do this. So, like, I get that. I just don't see how this game is bad just because it's different from that. Like, the whole point is there's no direction. There's no rules. Like I said, there's not a quest. Like, literally, if this kid wanted to, he could walk through and kill Ganon without doing anything else. There's your quest. You beat the game. Like, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Next paragraph. I don't know about the people who wrote the positive reviews, but I have a life. I have a job. I have a family and a home. What I don't have is countless hours to wander around doing nothing.
Oh, God.
Hours and hours and hours trying to figure out where the shrines are and how to make some stupid recipe that you have to guess on your own. And this is only the beginning of the game. I don't even want to think about what it's like in later levels.
Later levels.
This guy has a house, home, family, and he doesn't have time for video games.
Doesn't have time, dude.
He's got to look up a guide, man.
Yeah, so that one.
We've got like 3 more paragraphs here. Yeah, like I said, he wrote a book. That's why I was interested. I'm glad we read it because...
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. Now that that's out of the way, my other complaint is about the weapons. You have sticks, swords, spears, bows, clubs, and all sorts of weapons. Cool, right? Except they are all junk. After you kill a couple of goblins, the weapons break. In the middle of a fight, and all of a sudden your sword has broken. Then you have to fart around in the menu to equip another sword. Okay, I'm going to pause right there, even though we're not at the end of the paragraph. I will agree, it does get annoying having all your weapons break, but I thought they did a great job of making a quick swap so you didn't have to fart around in the menus.
Yeah. I'm kind of indifferent on the weapons breaking. I don't think the Master Sword should. Because when I got to the end game, I literally had like 17 or 18 just royal swords. Because I like swords. That's what I wanted to use. So, which was fine. But if I could make one critique, I think there should be an auto equip function where it just equips the next sword you have or weapon down the line automatically. But yeah, there was a quick swap and it took a half second, super fast. But this guy's a nerd.
Yeah, no, like you said, I can understand not liking the weapon breaking. Like, I'm also indifferent on it. Like, I probably would have been a little happier if your weapons didn't break, just that way you could find a cool weapon and stick with it. That's what I like. But it didn't affect my gameplay so much that I was like, oh, I hate this. But I think specifically in this criticizing the menu, I thought the quick swap was very well designed.
They did a great job with it.
Yeah.
Shields, swords, bows, arrows. It was all done perfectly.
All right. So I left off. You have to fart around in the menu to equip another sword. You swipe it a few times and oops, it's broke too. Let's try the club. Broke. Equip the spear. Broke. I'm tired of hoarding swords and spears in my bag because they keep breaking. And you're out of luck if they all break. Yeah, you can't fight without a weapon. Link just looks at his empty hands like he's stupid. Just ball up your fist and punch a goblin in the face or kick him where it counts. Nope, he just looks at his hands. So what do you do when you break all your weapons? You guessed it, run away. Then you have to wander around blindly until you stumble across an axe or something. Same with bows, they break too. I don't remember ever being in a position where all my weapons were broken and I had to wander around everywhere.
Yeah, I really think this guy was stuck at the very beginning of the game when he could only hold 2 sticks and a sword.
Even still, there's bokoblin camps everywhere with weapons laying around.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get. All right. Then he's like, and what happens during a boss fight? Same thing. You dodge his attacks and mash him around. Then your weapon breaks and he has hardly any damage done at all. But then you have to go to the menu and equip another weapon. In the meantime, by the time that's done, he's coming in for another attack. Same sequence: dodge, attack, weapon breaks, replaced. But when he hits you once, it's game over and you have to continue and sit through the loading screen. Not to mention the music is pretty freaking pathetic and annoying.
The music in the game, and not pathetic, not annoying. I guess he means the death music, which sounds like he heard a lot. It's like do 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 do. You know, you remember it?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I couldn't even remember the death music. Like I died a bit more than any other Zelda game, but not that much.
But I do miss traditional music as well. I think that's a big part of the formula.
I could agree that it's pathetic in the sense that there's not enough. Like, not pathetic as in not good. Like, every bit of music is quality music.
It is.
But yeah, I would have liked more music playing. And I liked how they went with nature sounds and everything. If they could just balance it a little more, more music, but keep the ambiance.
Absolutely.
All right, so weapons breaking, constantly healing after one hit. This is incredibly stupid to have to do when you are in the middle of an intense fight where you need to focus on what you're doing rather than mess around swapping weapons that keep breaking. Forget this. Going to GameStop tomorrow to trade this in. No, bro. Sell it on eBay or something. They're going to give him $20.
Yep, $20 for a $60 game.
And then you know what? They're going to sell it for $54.99. And they're probably going to give them less than $20. I'd probably be too generous, but I know they're going to sell it for $54.99. I bought a Nintendo Switch just for this game because I read it was a good game. Looks like I'm putting the Switch away and hooking up my PS4 back up and put back in the latest Final Fantasy game where at least my weapons don't break. I don't die in one hit, and I have some sort of sense of direction what I'm supposed to do. I know this guy did not just say I'm putting down Breath of the Wild to play Final Fantasy 15.
He did.
No, because they tell you what to do.
It's such a worse open world game than Breath of the Wild.
Like, yeah, I know where I have to go. Let me push my car there.
Exactly. And I liked Final Fantasy 15, but oh man.
Oh, and then his last sentence: effing garbage. I want my money back for the game and the Switch. Nintendo can suck it.
They just lost a customer for life.
I mean, this is
one of the best games they've ever made.
This is a mad dude for like a 10 out of 10 game.
Yeah.
Now, I did not realize there are comments available on Amazon purchases, but he's got multiple comments, as you can expect, 15 to be exact. A lot of them are long, so I'm just going to read this short one. Anger is frequently a result of frustration or feeling blocked or thwarted from something the subject feels is important. That's the whole comment. And then there's another one that says, I really like the way most people complain about wasting time with this game, but spend so much time writing a comment like this.
That's funny. But yeah, people miss the whole point of the game.
Yeah.
They say, why am I walking around? Why am I spending so much time walking around? Because that's the game. Explore, fight, have fun. It's beautiful. It sounds good. The music's not there, but it sounds good.
Right. Yeah.
Just enjoy yourself. Just have fun. That's all you have to do. Why is it so hard for some people to just have fun?
All right. This one's pretty short and made me laugh, so we'll read one more and then get moving on. This one just says, too difficult. In the bin it goes. I'm a huge fan of the Zelda series and have played nearly all the titles. This game is beautiful on the Switch, but it has lots of cons. The difficulty is unreal. Unless you have very fast reflexes, you will die a lot. Unless you have pinpoint aim, your archery will never hit. You've got to be very fast in combat. There is no easy mode. Like, what? like I said, it's the hardest Zelda game, probably, for sure.
And you do die a lot in the beginning, but like...
This ain't Dark Souls.
Yeah. It's not that bad, dude. Once you get a real sword, you know.
I feel like I have to read this one, too.
Let me hear it.
Empty game case. Just got a brand new sealed game. Opened it up and there's nothing in it at all. I never write reviews, but I was so mad.
Okay, that's bad.
Like, do you think that actually happens to people? They get a sealed game case and there's just not a cartridge in there?
Can you even do anything about it? Like,
Amazon
you think they will?
Yeah, you could just say exchange it for the exact same thing on Amazon.
But if you don't have the real thing...
I don't think they really check it. But I guess, like, you just have to be honest and be like, look, there was nothing in the game case.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
That's tough because, like, that's a big scam. If people say, hey, there's nothing in my case, give me a free one, but you just keep the cartridge and then sell the unopened free one for full price. Like, that's tough. Like, can they actually do anything for you if you open the packaging and say there was nothing in a sealed package?
Yeah.
And, like, dude, if that happened at GameStop, I feel like they'd say they.
Yeah, but they're also failing and Amazon's striving. Like, I feel like
Oh yeah,
Amazon
boo
on a customer
GameStop.
service level, dude, and Amazon, or I mean, GameStop's the one to mess up stuff like that. They'll give
Yeah,
you the wrong game. I mean, that's happened to me so many times where they
same.
just put the wrong game in the case.
Yeah.
And like, they never conveniently they never put a more expensive game in your
Yep.
case. It's
It's
always
always
a
some
less
piece of shit.
expensive. Yep.
Um, it. Fortunately I check now because, dude, it's happened to me too. Like,
Yeah, like it's happened to me multiple times at different GameStops too. I don't know how they always do it, but like it almost seems on purpose.
it almost happened to me in a positive way. One time I was getting a Link Between Worlds for the 3DS, which was $19.99. I can't remember if it was on sale or the price just dropped, but Majora's Mask was still $40 for the 3DS. She put it in, and at this point I was like, I saw it obviously, and I was like, damn, that's the wrong game. And I don't think I was gonna say anything, but she caught herself and she said, "Oh, that's the wrong game."
Damn, that's
Um,
crazy.
but because I really wanted Majora's Mask, but I am glad I got A Link Between Worlds because I hadn't played that before, and it was a great game. It's really good.
Bro, and that's going to have to be a discussion for another time, but they did not do Majora's Mask any favors when they brought it to the Switch,
Nope.
or I mean to the DS.
They screwed up a lot of things that were great.
But we'll save that because now we're getting into an area we may also have to discuss maybe in next week if there's still no direct or anything like that. My hatred for GameStop. I feel like we could get
Yeah,
into that a
yeah,
little
we
bit
could
too.
definitely get into it.
All right, so we're starting to wind down here. Just a few more things I wanted to mention. The Pokemon Home app launched both on cell phones and on the Nintendo Switch. So it is live now. If you create an account, the free account, you get a free Pikachu and a free starter from Gen 1. So you could choose a Squirtle, Bulbasaur, or Charmander. And this will let you switch Pokemon in between like all the games basically. So I know one thing I'm happy about. If any of you bought the Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee with the Pokeball Plus and claimed the Mew, you couldn't claim the Mew on Sword and Shield as well. Well, now you can use the Pokemon Home app and transfer the Mew from your Let's Go to Sword and Shield and have a Mew on Sword and Shield instead. So that's pretty cool. And you can do that all with the free one.
Yeah, it's nice. It's an interesting app, or I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah, interesting concept. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people have been upset about the price point, and I haven't done as much research into it as I should. I just know about the trading features, like I said, trading
Yeah.
between games, but I know there's a bit more it can do. I'm kind of indifferent on the price. I mean, I'm by no means wealthy or anything, but it's $15 a year. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like I understand, like people are saying, oh, it's almost as much as Switch Online, but that's because Switch Online is cheap. Like,
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Exactly. It's almost $15 a month for if you're buying, Xbox or PlayStation. It's like $12, $10. You can get it for like $60 a year, but if you buy by the month,
Oh, monthly. Okay, I was gonna say it's not quite that much, but yeah,
yeah,
I guess if you pay monthly, it is.
it's a lot more expensive.
All right, and then the last thing we wanted to talk about real quick, Kingdom Hearts. The story so far is getting ported to Xbox,
That's the complete edition. Every single game ever of
including
Kingdom
3.
Hearts. No, not three, not three.
Is 3
Three
already
is
on
already on
Xbox? It
Xbox,
came
yeah,
on Xbox. Okay.
but everything else. So is it going to get a Switch port? I think it's a huge possibility.
Yeah, at this point, they'd be dumb not to. I was having this debate with one of my friends recently just about games coming to the Switch. We're at a point in time now where the Switch has most likely outsold the Xbox. Microsoft
Yeah.
doesn't release numbers, so we don't know for sure, but basically everybody estimating says it probably has. And it's, it's outsold the Super Nintendo at this point. We're above 50 million copies. So
Yep.
you're talking about a lot of potential sales when you're bringing your game to the Switch. And I think developers see that, and they're trying to bring as many games to the Switch as they can.
And they've had DS games for Kingdom Hearts. They've had 3DS games for Kingdom Hearts. And PS2 games play exceptionally well on the Switch. I love like the Final Fantasy X port. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
I would actually be real happy to play through Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 again on my Switch. I'd buy it.
oh, it's perfect. Yeah, and I mean, they've got Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, all very recently put on the Switch, which all are Square Enix games. I think it's definitely coming at some point.
You reminded me, I'm just going to say it real quick. When you said all that, they also announced at the time they were going to do a remake of Crystal Chronicles, and I haven't heard anything
Yeah,
about it since. I need to look back into that. Do you know anything about it? Like if there's a release date or
I'm not
anything?
sure.
Let me just look that up real quick since we
Yeah.
brought it up. Might as well bring it.
Also, they most of those games did not get hard copies. 7, 8, and 9 didn't. But in Europe, not even Japan, but I believe it was Europe, got a Final Fantasy 7 and 8 combo pack hard copy. And we did not get that in America, and I think that's a very cool game to have.
Yeah, I saw that. I think Japan also got it. But the thing about those games is there's no region lock on the Switch. So you can actually import them. You're going to have to pay a little bit, but
Yeah.
you can import them and play them in English if you want. Somebody like me who's into really just collecting stuff, that's something I'll be doing at some point because I really wanted a hard copy for those.
Yeah.
So Crystal Chronicles Remastered does not have a release date yet. It still says to be determined for the release information.
I mean, that's something that they're going to need to say in a direct if we ever get one.
Yeah, that's something I never really played back in the day, so I'm really excited to play that one, especially since I know like the big selling point is its 4-player multiplayer.
Yeah.
And it was hard to do because you needed the Game Boy Link cables back in the day. But now on Switches, they'll add online functionality, so we'll really be able to check it out as it was meant to be played.
Yeah, and that'll be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up everything we wanted to discuss. Thank you guys so much for listening with us. Please, if you haven't, check out the YouTube. It's youtube.com/NintendoKnights. And
There's more than just podcasts there, guys. There's going to be a lot of good stuff coming up in the future.
Right, yeah, we're uploading content there, and it would mean a lot to us if you subscribed and just checked out stuff there. Also, follow us on Twitter. It's twitter.com/KnightsNintendo, or if you just search Nintendo Knights, we come up that way as well. We're always posting when the podcasts go live, so you'll know right away there. And of course, subscribe to us on the Google Play Store or iTunes, where you get your podcast. We're also on SoundCloud if you want to search us there. We're Nintendo Knights on every one of those platforms. All right, anything else you got to add, Joe?
I think that's a wrap for this one.
All right, we'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching.